All right, again, we're going to look at how those government policies led to inequalities, and specifically, we're going to look at education. Education has always been the heart of politics, regardless of what country, type of leader, or political beliefs. And I have some quotes from three very different leaders from three very different parts of the world with three very different political beliefs. And I have Joseph Stalin at the top. Education is a weapon whose effects depend on who holds it in his hands and at whom he can aim it. And for those who don't know who Joseph Stalin is, he doesn't go down in history as one of the best, maybe one of the most ruthless leaders of Russia, but he understood the importance of education. As a result, you see Russia really try to limit what people had for education. I would say censor what they have, and so that closes doors and keeps their mind on track to believe one thing. And so, again, knew the power of education. You have Nelson Mandela. You may have heard of him in our lessons. And he said education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And it is that way of thinking that is going to hopefully transform South Africa. And then you have Gandhi. If you want to reach real peace in this world, we should start with educating children. And you're going to see that some of this resentment that grows out of South Africa is they don't have a say during apartheid what their education is. They keep their history from them. And the first step to peace is understanding your history. And so two big educational acts that really were detrimental to the South African blacks were the Bantu Education Act, a majority provision enforcing racially separate education facilities, so blacks and whites could not go to school together. As you can look at this picture, you can see there may be lacking many of the things we take for granted in our education system. Desks, books, many of these children don't even have shoes, and that's a lot of kids for one teacher. They also had the extension of the University Education Act, which made it a criminal offense for non-white students to register formally to an open university without written permission, which who's going to give them written permission? And so if you don't have a foundation of good schooling, you can't go to a good college, and then you can't get a good job. And if you close those doors of opportunity, you're keeping people the way they are, that they can't ever move forward. And so you're going to see a lot of frustration. And so you're going to read an article. In this article, you're going to answer what is school like for black students in South Africa. You can list some examples. What could you do if you're unhappy with the education? What are your options? And what would you personally do if you were a student in this system? Would you fight up for change? Would you just be the same status quo? So you're going to read this document. You're going to answer these questions. There might be a couple others. And just so you know, this document takes place in Soweto, which is right outside Johannesburg.